I just want to get a coffee, okay?
Why
Can I
is the
get a
camera
coffee?
in my face right now? Are you here partaking?
You walked
Right
up
now
to
you're
me.
in the red zone?
I'm scared. I want to go for a coffee down there. Can I go
Where's
for
your
a coffee?
residence, ma'am? Still being arrested right
Do you
now.
live in this?
No,
You're
I
not
don't live
excluded
here,
from
but
that.
I'm
Where do you live?
Alberta.
Time for you to leave.
I can't even go down there for
No,
a coffee.
no,
Go grab
you're
your stuff
in the
and
red
leave.
zone right now. If you don't leave right now, you will be arrested. Do you understand me?
I can't go for a coffee.
Grab your stuff, because if we see you, we'll be patrolling all day. If we see you again, it'll be different.
Leave. I'm telling you. Take your camera and get out of here. Do you understand that?
I'm walking away.
Walk away. Your phone doesn't need to be in our face when you're walking away.
Please
Go.
have my phone.
Are you gonna walk
Yes,
or are you gonna get arrested?
I was
Go
walking
now.
away.
Get out of here.
Oh my goodness. Hope you can go to sleep at night.
Wow. So, yeah, according to the official story, the truckers needed to be stopped immediately because they were disrupting the daily life of people living in Ottawa. And now this is life for people living in Ottawa. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudowski here of WeAreChange.org, and we have a lot of absolutely crazy international news to get into, not only, of course, from Canada, which for me was just a bigger test of things to come, especially here in the United States, but also, specifically, the latest developments happening right now in Ukraine as the West faces off against the East. Well, we're going to talk about that, plus a lot more, and originally I was going to play this lovely video of Klaus Schwab and Justin Trudeau to help explain what was happening in Canada, but I think that the video that I decided to play definitely highlights the current situation unfolding right there, which is truly just about subjugating and trying to punish people because they believe in freedom. Freedom that they seek in many places, like even online. This as the former president of the United States that has been censored on big tech social media has just launched his Truth social media platform, which is now available in the Apple Store and is already facing a lot of legal challenges, has been riddled with error messages, long wait lists, and also a very vague general terms and services that is very similar to other big tech platforms, as it promises to even go above and beyond when it comes to moderating content on their platform. In other really interesting political news, Tulsi Gabbard was just announced to be a speaker at CPAC, a mainly conservative political action yearly conference, which, by the way, I will be attending here in Orlando. Hopefully we could get a word in with Tulsi Gabbard and be able to ask her some very pointed, important political questions. As of course, the conference is also going to be attended by Trump, Mike Pompeo, Ron DeSantis, and I think it's fair to say it's definitely going to be a very interesting conference. It'll be interesting to see how they handle their mask policies, which of course many people on the left, like Joy Behar, that hours after lecturing everyone about the importance of wearing masks, specifically even announcing that she plans to wear a mask indoors indefinitely, was caught inside of a restaurant not masking at all. This is also perfectly highlighted by the Atlantic's latest article that is titled, quote, "Mask mandates are illogical," quote, "so what?" Essentially arguing for a religious dress code just to be compliant with the whims of the state. And even though the Atlantic, major democratic cities all throughout the United States have just got rid of a lot of their mask mandates, Bill Gates is still fighting for them, as of course he just came out recently and mocked people who don't like the mask mandates. I guess now mocking a lot of his fellow statists, saying, quote, "Why do we have to wear pants?" As of course the internet all at once responded to him, specifically asking if this was a question that he was asking to his good old buddy and pal, Jeffrey Epstein. All of this, as even admittedly by the New York Times, the CDC is holding back large amounts of data and information from the general public since they are worried about the ramifications of people finding out exactly what happened here. And in related creeper news, we have Facebook's, Meta's manager of community development being caught and live streamed on a predator catcher's YouTube channel in Indianapolis, where his interrogation of him was live streamed on the internet. This after being caught doing some extremely horrible things that of course we cannot even talk about on this platform. We can talk about it though on our own platform, LukeUncensored.com, as we're going to have a very important video coming out later on today for you, specifically detailing a lot of the strange, bewildering activity that's happening to the Joe Rogan Experience on Spotify, as well as the continued PR attacks against him, which overall go along to a bigger agenda that, of course, is meant to pacify the masses and to eventually enslave them. You know, just the light-hearted topics that we love to talk about on LukeUncensored.com. I hope to see you there. Click the link down in the description below right now to find out more information about being involved and participating in our many giveaways, our events, our exclusive merchandise, which is only available to members of LukeUncensored.com. Hope to see you there in our own little private club. Now, not surprisingly, as we've been telling you within the last few days, the emergency actions in Canada are going to be staying for a lot longer than, of course, the government told you that they were going to be staying for. As, of course, the former drama school teacher, some would also believe shampoo hair model, Justin Trudeau has announced that even though the protests have mainly been destroyed by top-down destructive government forces, that free speech and the ability to protest and to address grievances at the government has been ended, and even though there are no more protests, the state of emergency is not over to Justin Trudeau, as of course he decides when it's over, as of course women continue to be bullied and harassed on the streets just for trying to get coffee, all in the name of this emergency. As, of course, the Canadian government still looks to viciously and arbitrarily punish Canadian protesters that believed in freedom, as already 200 arrests have been made, 57 vehicles have been towed, and there's original reports coming on right now highlighting how 206 people have had their lives ruined, their bank accounts taken away, their money stolen without a judge, jury, or trial by the Canadian state because of their involvement in a mainly peaceful protest that, of course, was raising money for legal battles against the state's mandates against them. Who are the individuals affected here? Well, according to one Canadian member of parliament, Mark Strahil, the target of the Canadian government was even a single mother who allegedly had her bank account frozen because she gave $50 to the Freedom Convoy, all under the name of this Federal Emergencies Act that hasn't even been ratified by the Canadian state. I don't believe this Canadian NP has a reason to lie here, and we have to ask the bigger question here of if the government is willing to stop a single mother and her child from being able to eat, to pay rent, because they wanted to hold the government accountable for their actions, where else will they be going? What other actions will they be imposing, as there is surely nothing to stop them from their traverse into lunacy, which looks like it will only spiral out of control from here. We also have to understand that the Canadian government is not a government of the people. It is a government that has been admittedly penetrated by Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, that have infiltrated Parliament and are essentially calling the shots for, of course, the multinational corporation billionaire class that, of course, seeks to control and destroy every aspect of humanity. And if you think that this lunacy cannot come here to the United States, you're not paying attention, as of course even CNN is now talking about how the government might be recommending that you take a fourth procedure this fall and might have to continue to take it every year, as told to us by Project Veritas and their whistleblower within the FDA that, of course, broke this story before it went out there to the general public. Now, from my own personal opinion and perspective, what's happening in Canada was only a test to see how people will respond. Limited authoritarianism used as a subject to evaluate the response from the general public, which, of course, is heavily documented in data sets, as, of course, the surveillance grid is only expanding, especially here in the United States, where even one private company, Clearview Artificial Intelligence, has announced that they allegedly have 100 billion photos in its database, as they are trying to ensure that they have the ability to identify anyone in the world. They plan to, of course, upgrade their services and plan to even expand beyond law enforcement. And this type of dystopian, Orwellian, totalitarian, all-out control of life is getting creepier by the day, as the Movie Pass app now has a feature in it that can track your eyes in order to make sure that you watch the advertisements that, of course, the multinational corporations want you watching, downloading, and affecting your subconscious. Now, when you have the merger of multinational corporations, the state that controls human life top-down and likes to abuse its power, you, of course, have a recipe of disaster, which not only will bring totalitarianism, but also financial destruction and poverty, which is what El Salvador is reporting the opposite of, as of course it has been opening its doors to innovation, technology, the free flow of capital. They have also given people, respectively, personal liberty and freedom over their own personal health decisions, and many sectors of their economy is growing compared to, of course, many Western nations that believe and have implemented the opposite policies that El Salvador has implemented. Still, El Salvador has a long way to go, has a lot of its own problems, but respectively, right now on the world stage, it definitely looks like one of the countries that are doing things right. And who knows, we might be traveling there soon in order to do some on-the-ground reporting to share all the possibilities that might be afforded to individuals there. Now, in other international geopolitical news, the situation in Ukraine is definitely getting more serious by the day, as the United States has told Americans in Russia to evacuate as soon as they can, as they're reporting that Russia might severely restrict flights. This as there's potential talks of Biden sitting down with Vladimir Putin in France with Emmanuel Macron. If this summit happens, there's room for optimism, but the summit is, of course, in question, as there is a lot of heavy military presence right now in Ukraine, a number of questionable incidences, and already ongoing fighting and shelling that has been happening in Ukraine that only has been getting worse by the days. It's been happening for years now. What's going to be happening from here, who knows? But of course, we've been warning about this volatile situation for years now. I think it's only going to get crazier from here. And of course, we're going to be keeping all of our eyes and ears on it as the story develops. But at least for right now, the people in Ukraine could go down the street and get some coffee for now, unlike the citizens of Ottawa. Now, if you want to understand more context about what's happening in Russia, you should definitely check out the video I did a few days ago, which is available right here for you to watch right now. And again, I have a lot more to say. There's a lot of other things to get into, which of course I will be talking about exclusively on LukeUncensored.com. I hope to see you there later on today. And of course, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching, sharing, and participating in this independent media experiment. Because you do, I'm still here. This is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on WeAreChange.org.